Well, hello and welcome back to our garden. Today is going to be a busy day. I have a good few updates for you just to show you what is happening. And I think it's going to be a good day to do a bit of physical work as well, because it's actually quite cool again. We're back to sort of 3-4 degree nights, and at the moment we have northeasterly winds as well. So at the moment it's about 8 degrees this morning. So look at this though, the apple blossoms are starting to go over. They've gone so pale in colour, but it's been an amazing spring for fruit blossoms. There's a lot of success in the pollination. I see a lot of baby pears on the tree. Now again, a lot of them can still drop off, but the flowers have been really nice this year, very, very abundant, and it's down to one of the driest springs we've had. But the rest of the garden, it keeps exploding. It's absolutely amazing. It is just such a beautiful time of year. But I have updates for you on the field and seedlings and greenhouse, so I think we'll just get busy and we see how we get on today with all the plantings and sowings and physical work that needs to be done. Now, as you see, there's some progress on the field side. The first line of soil and some first plantings are here, and that is just the very first border with calendula seedlings in it. And all I did is just take some excess seedlings from the terraced planter and I put them here, and that was just self-sown from last year's flowers. So just a very quick thing, and I definitely will try to work more on the planning out the rest of the beds here today as well. But at the moment, the first line is here. I could see then how much soil it's sort of taking out of the big ton bag. I think, yeah, today is going to be a good day for it. When it's overcast, it feels a bit cooler to do this kind of a hard physical work as well. So we'll come back to that. First of all, let's go to the kitchen and I'll show you a quick update there on some of the seedlings, and we'll go to the greenhouse then, and yeah, I'll show you another couple of things then. Now, with these heat-loving crop seedlings that I sowed 2 weeks ago, there's a variable rate of success of the germination, and mostly it's actually all really positive. And some of these other pots might still show some signs of life as well, but there's one definite that out of the 2 pots that I sowed, and none of it has come up. And also a full tray of the Cobra climbing French beans, nothing has come up from those either, even though once I show you in the greenhouse, the French beans, the dwarf French beans have come up. So I'd say I'm going to re-sow this, plus then the cucumber Emilia. This is also one that none of them have come up, so I'm going to also re-sow that for sure. But then out of the empty pots, I have 1 pot of mashed potato squash. That's the Emilia cucumber. I have 1 pot of Hokkaido squash that nothing has come up, and 1 cucumber of Beth hasn't come up either. Blauhilde climbing bean that hasn't come up, and 1 courgette Firenze. But otherwise, I have at least 1 pot of each of them that have a germination. And then obviously I would have multi-sowed some of the pots, cucumbers and squashes, especially this courgette or zucchini of Black Beauty. I have actually 5 seedlings popping out of one of these pots, and one is noticeably weaker than the others. 2 are really good and strong, and there's other 2 that look strong as well. These need to be pricked out, so these need to be all taken into their individual pots, except the one that's the weakest. That's going to be discarded. There's no need for that because I have another couple of pots. And I'm also thinking I will re-sow the Blauhilde climbing bean, because there's only 1 out of each of the pots that has come through here, and especially when the cobra didn't do anything, so maybe the seed itself is a problem. Even after resowing, maybe there's not going to be any success from it, so I might as well get some backup from the Blauhilde, as I have more seeds of that. But otherwise it looks good. There's good success, and like these seeds or these trays actually have been in the greenhouse for a couple of days, and I brought them into the kitchen as well when the days and especially the nights have been cooler. So no, overall it has been positive. And out of the flower seeds that I had on the heated propagator, Craspedia, which is the billy button, a little yellow sort of poppadom type of a flower, and then the Nicotiana, they are all coming up strongly. And there are a couple of seedlings of tomatoes as well that have started to make an appearance. These were seeds sent to me by Danny from Grow Up channel. I leave them for another week. They're a little bit still small to be potted into the individual pot. Let me take you to the greenhouse and I'll show you how the seeds are doing there. One of the biggest things with any of the new fresh seedlings now is to check for slugs, and especially on that yacon plant that I saw the slug trail on the leaves. Luckily there was nothing visibly nibbled on it, but I could see that there's a slug trail, so there must be somebody hiding, and usually it's just on the underside of the pots, and there it was, obviously the large slug, so that got thrown a few meters away from the greenhouse. Let it find a different place to eat. But otherwise in the greenhouse, this is definitely a place I want to spend some time in. I want to clear out the greenhouse. I want to get the brassicas and mustards out of here, especially as the mustards now and the rocket or arugula is going into flower. It's just too hot for them. So even though it's like 8 degrees or Celsius outside, it's already 24 degrees in here. Just that little bit of sunshine is enough to really ramp up the heat inside here. And because my tomato plants have gone distinctly purplish in color as well, so they're suffering their little pots. They want to get into the soil, so we can condition the soil a little bit and get them planted out today as well. But otherwise, as the seedlings go from 2 weeks ago sowings, I'll show you the update now. So first of all, the tray of vegetables where I had kohlrabi, some broccoli, chard and beetroot, they have been coming out quite well. There's actually still some germinating now 2 weeks later, and I thought actually they had finished now by this stage. What came up, but I literally see more seedlings emerging, so I probably have to leave them. Well, I'll definitely leave them alone for another week before I even will consider planting out. And obviously I have to have the field prepared for that. And the second tray of beetroot, one of the strongest beetroots actually to come out was the Detroit. There's a very, very good germination across all the cells, and then bull's blood as well. That was another one that did very well. And there's some Burpees golden. Trays are quite full as well. But the same thing, just to check for slugs underneath any of the seed trays now. There's a very good root run on the Detroit beetroot. If I could even get these guys out first, but yeah, I think I'll still leave it for 1 week. I'm not sure if you can hear it. I might have to take you outside to let you hear, but cuckoo birds are back, and there's one really strongly singing at the moment. I really hope you were able to hear that. They don't come so close to the house, obviously they'll stay in the forestry, but I definitely heard the pheasant and obviously all the other songbirds that are around the property here. It's just beautiful. as the seeds go, so this is the dwarf French beans, and as you see, like, this is full-on germination. Now this was my own homemade seed from last year's beans. Considering that the Cobra climbing beans, there was nothing out of them, this is a really strong growth. So that's why I'm thinking I'll rather re-sow the Cobra. Now sunflowers definitely could be pricked out as well. They're well leggy by this stage, but very good germination rate. There was 2 different varieties in here, half and half. Yeah, so there's good on that. And then the sweet corn and the yard-long beans. Very good germination, especially from the yard-long beans, which is the very first thing for me to sow and grow. Planning to grow them inside the greenhouse here. I'm not going to put them outside. But the sweet corn variety, Golden Bantam, I've grown before outside successfully enough. I'm glad to say that even though I had seeds from 2 separate suppliers, I could not tell difference, except that I know where the difference is, how I sow them. I could not tell difference which ones were from Fontana Seeds, who's based in Cyprus, and the second is an Irish supplier. So yeah, very similar, that there's a couple of cells that are empty, and in others there's 2 out. Even if the empty cells stay as empty cells, I wouldn't complain about that germination rate at all. So this is the seedlings update from all the sowings I did 2 weeks ago. And I think while it's still sort of coolish out there, and it's obviously still morning time as well, I'll do a few wheelbarrows of soil for the field, and if I feel like I need a break, I'll come back into the greenhouse and I'll potter on in here. I think, yeah, that's the right way to break it up for myself, so I don't exhaust myself too quickly. I've run into a problem. I'm running out of compost. I didn't think that would happen, and I think I'm out of my gardening budget. Like, I've spent all my gardening budget, what I had. I can't believe that. Yeah, I've sort of maybe half of a bag left, but I still have to top up the big potato bags. Plus I have a lot of still pots of potatoes to plant. Oh, so I might be in trouble there. And the thing is that what I actually earned from the YouTube from making these videos is what my budget is. So anything I get from ad revenue or any of the super thanks, any of these kind of little donations, that is going to make up my budget. So what I'm spending now is what I made last year, and I think I'm out of that. I think I spent it all. So all of the views I get and every minute that you watch one of these videos is just going to ensure that I can continue doing changes or adding plants or getting fresh compost for the garden. So I'm so grateful that I've been able to do it like that and to share it with you. But yeah, I think that pot has run empty now. So I have to do my calculations, but that's 3, 4, 5. I think that's 5 ton bags of compost already, just that compost. Never mind the mulch and all the small bags. I'll take a little break before I continue gardening, because obviously now I did one full line of the compost on the field, and I did I really got scared sort of halfway in doing that and throwing the compost in, because there was a massive dip in the ground. So I think there's a point where it's like foot deep. It really felt at one point that like there was no progress to what I was actually doing. I kept bringing the wheelbarrows, but it just the distance, I wasn't traveling further with the soil. Yeah, that got me really worried. But I did it, I think it's about 900 centimeters wide, or about 3 foot. But I really did not think I'm going to be short of compost with that. So I put one more run of cardboard down, and I'm very sure I have to just take that up at the moment. I can't expand that further. If I have any compost left after I've topped up the potatoes and done the potato buckets, I still want to just get sort of planting area around the plum tree or underneath the plum tree, and start a little tree guild in there. But otherwise, further me going down the slope, I think I have to take that cardboard up, and that has to wait its turn. So this raised metal planter where I sowed the carrots into, I did that 2 weeks ago, and I looked at it during the week and there was no sign of any growth. And I knew already, I said it on the video as well, that that packet was the best before was last year. So I was chancing, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to just re-sow it this weekend. I looked at it again yesterday, and every row has carrots up. Because carrots germination is usually between 1 to 3 weeks. And in the other planter that I sowed earlier, like weeks and weeks earlier, they came up within a week. It was a fresh seed packet. And once these hadn't shown any sign within the week and a half, I was determined, that's fine. The seeds have gone off and I need to re-sow it. And there you go. They came up by the end of 2nd week. So this was a really pleasant surprise. Not only I was able to use up a seed packet that was open, and it saved me money from buying fresh seed again. But there's in every row there's various levels, but there's a lot, because I did oversow. I did use up every bit of the packet what I had. So there's a positive story out of those seeds. But none of the, actually saying that, between the carrots, none of the parsnips between either of those 2 planters now have come up. Neither of them have shown any signs, even though I pre-chitted the seed. So unless they're going to come up so much later, but at the moment there's no sign of any parsnips anywhere. So these are my big potato planters in these ton bags. I have Charlotte, which is 2nd early, Desiree, main crop, and Pink Fir Apple, which is also a 2nd early. And between both of the bags, there's a really nice amount of foliage of the stems coming up with really compact, actually, nice tight leaf system as well. But I need to earth them up. So basically, I need to cover them all up at least by 2-3 inches of compost. So that is going to be my priority now. I'll go and get another few wheelbarrows, cover them up, and then I have to look at my buckets and spread whatever compost I have left into those as well. And the real reason why you'd even consider earthing up potatoes is just because the potato grows upwards, so you'd have a better chance of getting more harvest out of the potatoes after. Because yeah, it has more chance then to spread out its roots and create new tubers on those roots. And then if I still have some compost left, I can add it to under the plum tree there. So a little recap what I've done so far. So first of all the potatoes are planted now. Every bit of the seed potatoes I have are finally planted. And I've never planted potatoes that late. I've never planted them in May. It's always been within the month of March or April at least. So the first time for everything, right? And as I was looking through my pots situation, I realized I actually had forgotten to order more of the black pots. I had what I had. I think I only had 3 pots left. And I picked King Edward, Cara and Pinkford apple as the 3 varieties. And I planted them up with my seaweed and fish blood and bone mix in the soil and filled the pots right up. And I've taken the pots actually onto the field now as well. But I still had so many seed potatoes left. I know absolutely I bought way too many seed potatoes, and I know some of it was because I ordered online and they came as a pre-packaged in weight rather than the amount of tubers. So I'm not going to do that next year again. I want to just get few tubers of each. I really will try to hold on to now properly seed potatoes myself unless something happens to the overall harvest this year. So what I ended up doing is I actually used one of those big bags. There was just a little bit of soil left on the base of it, just enough so I could actually drag the whole bag with the little bit of compost in it onto the row of the other 2, and I made a full-on mixed bag of every leftovers. So I had Aran Victory, Desiree, another couple of tubers of Pinkford apple, and more Cara. So I mixed 4 varieties in one big bag, and I topped it off with a little bit more compost and let that be as it is. And I know that, you know, we're going to probably have way too many potatoes now, especially when they're in those big bags. And that's the beauty of the black pots, is that I can store the potatoes during the winter or cold weather in those pots, and I can protect the tubers more. As with the bags like that, you'd have to be eating out of them. They couldn't be left exposed like that as they are over winter. But at least it's done. You know, it's just a lesson to learn, that not to over order seed potatoes like that. I've way too many of them, but at least they're all in ground now. I didn't have to physically dump anything, and there might be more than enough to share it as well amongst the family. So my energy levels are getting pretty low. It has been a physically demanding day for sure, but if there's one thing I want to do is empty out that central bed of the brassicas. So there's turnips in there, there's mustards in there, and I just want to get that out. And I hope I'll just squeeze enough of energy together to get the tomatoes planted as well. At least the ones that are ready in the pots, they're so ready to go in. I know I still have some tiny seedlings that are a little bit too small, but the ones that are struggling looking, like the ones that have the leaves already discolored, so I know they're not happy in those. So let's see if I can push myself through that. Well, I didn't get the tomatoes planted. I did clean up the central bed and I harvested the quite nice little turnips from it as well, and I pulled obviously all the rest of the brassicas out by roots, and they are going to go now into the compost heap. But yeah, I didn't get anything else done. I did water the central bed. The soil is very dry. I'd say it's going to be the same case with the side planters as well. So A for effort at least for that. But if I would have pushed myself to keep going with the tomatoes, I think it would have taken every bit of the joy out of it. I'm just too tired. It's been a long day. So I've come to the cottage garden area and I'm on a chair. It will do at the moment, as we don't have a bench for this area yet. And just, yeah, looking at the tulips and resting a little bit more. I did edit that side of tulips because that side was exposed to sunshine stronger and better at the beginning of the season, as this side, it still has some gorgeous, gorgeous blooms on them. But this spring, the tulips, the combination of the colours has been the biggest joy for sure. So I'm really happy that Farmer Gracie had this kind of a mix. And even obviously when you plant them, you have no idea what colour is going to pop up. And I'm really happy that they are such a genuine mix, that I didn't end up with more, let's say, pinks on one side and yellows on the other side. They're like an artist palette, and they've stayed on the stem for so long. I know there's probably only another week, maybe week and a half to 2 weeks left on them. So that's why I just want to just take it in a little bit longer while I have them. But like the rest of the plants are all catching up, and obviously the geum is still flowering away. The ragged robin looking thing is there as well. And the rosebuds are coming, peony buds are growing, lupins. I'd say the nepetas are going to have their flowers open within a week. They're very close to opening. So thank you so much for joining me today, and we'll see you next time.